Good evening, Atlanta, and welcome to the intersection. Yes, you heard that right. Your weekend producer extraordinaire, Atlanta Dream reporter, and sometimes writer is now a host here every Thursday at 10 with Mr. Soccer himself, Jason Longshore. So, without any further ado, Jason Longshore, welcome to the first episode of The Intersection.
This is going to be cool. This is going to be a fun experiment and a fun show where we're going to cover lots of different stuff. I got it. Wait a minute. I didn't know about the sometimes writer portion of your bio.
Oh, yeah.
Explain.
Well, I've written for a few people like Athlon Sports. I ran their kicks division for a while. Shout out to Pat Benson.
Very nice.
I wrote in college. I do a little screenplay writing, some treatments. I've done some writing for
Mm,
the station as well. I hope to do more of, and I'm doing some writing in grad school. So yeah, I've become a writer somehow.
I like it. I like it.
A lot of
One thing
snatch
I'll bet you did not know about me, I used to write for a magazine based out of Atlanta called Grip Magazine.
word.
And probably the biggest piece that I got in that magazine was interviewing the reggae artist Sean Paul.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that was big when I was growing up in the 99 2000.
Back
I'm
in the
still in
day.
love with you, boy. Oh yeah, that was number one with a bullet in my house. So that
See,
that was
this
a great get.
this is the stuff you're gonna get on the intersection because Noel and I are both like music geeks to the extreme because it'll be Sean Paul and then it'll probably be Dolly Parton at some point,
Oh
and
yeah.
then we've definitely got a music one later that we're gonna get into. It's all over the place.
All over the place. And honestly, that leads us right into the topic of our first ever segment. What is the intersection? So, Jason, I'm gonna let you start. What is the intersection?
I gotta define it. Um, I honestly like this came about because I think Sam and Greg call me the fifth Beatle because I'm
Indeed.
usually the fill in on the weekends when Greg is off doing whatever Greg does at Bucky's and Sam is covering every sport around the state of Georgia. I get the call, I fill in. And we've had enough segments on the weekend morning show where it's like, you know what? There could be a show here and there could be something a little bit different, especially in this kind of time slot where, yeah, there's going to be games and stuff that we talk about. There's going to be reaction to things that happen in the sports world, and there's going to be reaction to things that happen in the entertainment world, and there's going to be just absolute randomness that could happen out of both of our brains.
Pretty much, and that's pretty much what we're trying to bring here. Like, I want to find that commonality between like sports and film and music and art and culture and all that fun stuff. Like if you was a 90 kids like me growing up, especially growing up in South DeKalb County like me, the Mighty Ducks kind of like changed your perception of hockey a bit. You went from not even seeing a lot of hockey to be like, oh well, maybe this might be Keenan Thompson's in it in the second one. So you're like, okay, maybe this is something I can get into. Or like Atlanta and Oakland having this weird connection with the Falcons and MC Hammer and Too Legit to Quit. Like these
Oh,
these are these are the intersections that we want to bring to you guys, past, present, and what could be future. So we're gonna have a lot of fun doing some stuff like that, as well as the relevant stuff of what's going on in the world of ball and sports.
I'm so glad you mentioned Too Legit to Quit because that's in my match day playlist. It's still in there. Like my match day playlist is the most disjointed section of music because it's what I do as I'm getting ready to go to a game. It's kind of like become something that I've done for the last, I don't know, 5, 6 years. I didn't do it at first when I started calling Atlanta United games, but for home games, when I'm driving to the stadium, it's generally about 25, 30 minutes.
Hmm.
And I have the playlist and I just hit shuffle and just let it go where it goes because I just dump songs in there. I'm not like setting the playlist in a certain order. That's
Right.
going back to my DJ days. I just throw songs in and hit shuffle and see what it gives me.
Oh yeah,
And
I love a good shuffle moment.
yeah, I mean, and when it's really good, I feel like it's going to be a good game. When it's all over the place, I get a little worried about the game I'm about to call.
Yeah, 'cause there are some days where I put it on shuffle and I'm like, oh wow, shuffle is really hitting today. Like
Mhm.
it's just hit after hit after hit. And you would think, it's songs that you like, so they should be, but not every song fits every day. But I
not
found
every
myself
song goes
doing that.
after every song
Wha
either.
that too, and I found myself kind of leaning into that during Dream Games too last summer. Like, I wasn't kind of going into it with anything in mind, but then I found myself kinda, like, gravitating to the same, like a little Tinashe over here and
Okay.
a little Outcast over there and a little Bone Thug, and it was enough to get me all riled up to get in the gateway and see what we got going on, and then on top of that, they got the best fries in the city, but that's besides the point.
I did not know about this
Oh
part.
yeah,
Uh-oh.
oh yeah, they got the best waffle fries in the city. I don't know what
Okay.
kind of seasoned salt Lowry's combination they got on it, but the best.
See, but that's something too, and I think the other aspect of something that we've talked about that we want to do in this show is we're going to talk about the big stuff, but we're going to talk about things that we think can be bigger and maybe should be bigger, and we're going to make our arguments about it. Look, I do soccer. Not everybody's into it. It's cool. I understand. It's really different than it was when I was a kid, but soccer is not something everybody is going to be as passionate about as I am. That's cool. I think it's important to know enough to have the conversation like we do on the station all the time. Atlanta United is drawing huge crowds. People are interested. You need to know what the main talking points are. I feel like we can, give you some of that. For me, the dream this year, I'm fascinated. I can't wait to see what they look like this season. Signing Brittany Griner, bringing her in, what that ends up being for women's basketball in the city, because it's something that, like, I'm ready to jump on the bandwagon. I'm looking forward to that this season.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk more about that in the next segment. But like to your point, the additions they're bringing in, the names to really, and not just names, right? Like these are still people, players that are still somewhat in their prime. Like it's
Mhm.
not like a Dwight Howard situation where he was brought in simply due
Whew.
to the name and his allegiance to the city, right? Like that's what
Yeah,
it was. Like he was
yeah.
hoping to sell some nostalgic jerseys for a year or two and then move on, and that's exactly what happened.
Ugh.
This has a little more juice to it, and the 1 year contracts makes a lot of sense this year. You're going to see a lot of places, people in strange places that you maybe wouldn't have thought in the WNBA, just because the new CBA is coming up and things are going to get shaken up and be a
Mhm.
little different. But it's going to be really exciting. And like listening to Sam and Greg talk to Kyle Sandy every weekend during basketball season, and you're seeing how much basketball talent there is on the girl side and how big it's becoming in the pools that they're falling into with the South Carolinas and the Yukons and the
Yep.
Tennessees and all the programs that are growing. And there's so much happening there that there is a place to your point to know what's happening, right? Like you may not watch a full WNBA game, but if somebody tells you, Brittany Garner had a triple double or something, that should garner. Oh, okay, yeah, Brittany Garner and a Tina Pow Pow and a CP, and they're getting the ball down the court and they're doing certain things, and okay, I can see that. I at least kind of know what's going on. Like we all score watch certain sports to a degree.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
there's a lot of baseball. Like only my mother's watching all 182 games or whatever it is. Like, there's some I watch, there's some I fall asleep on, there's some I see the start and not the end and not the start. There may be a whole 6 week chunk that we're just score watching, right? Because it's a really long season, but you're still kind of tuned into what's happening. Like you're not completely devoid. And that's another thing we're gonna try to bring to with these two particular teams in sports.
Yeah, it's what I love about Atlanta, and I feel like maybe this doesn't happen in other cities, and y'all can yell at us on Twitter if you want to. That's fine. It's completely cool. On X, you can yell at us for calling it Twitter. I don't care. But what like Atlanta sets itself apart to me in that when Atlanta United won the title in 2018, for example, everybody was on board. It
Yeah.
was exciting. People were, people that I know are not soccer people. I'm friends with them for different reasons, nothing to do with soccer. They're interested. They're asking questions about the lineup. The Dream have a run this year. People are going to be into it because it's Atlanta. Atlanta supports Atlanta. And that's been consistent all the way through. We're talking sports, we're talking music, we're just talking the city. It's something that this city has always been really strong in, supporting its own, backing its own up. And yeah, like I'm not a hardcore Braves fan like I was when I was a kid. When things get real late in the season, I'm tuned in more. Right now, I'm probably not as tuned in right now, but I need to know what's going on in the basics of it. And I think that's something that hopefully we'll be kind of crossing a lot of different streams in the intersection. And a lot of different roads are going to all come piling into one, and we're going to try to make sense of it, not have any cars crash.
Indeed, indeed. And I feel like the WNBA on the dream side got a little taste of that last season with Alicia Gray being an all-star and how she was able to capitalize on on that moment by not just winning all the awards, but winning all the money like Capricorns do. So,
Hey,
like she put herself on a stage, and I've actually seen like her visibility and popularity among fans grow. Like even being a Gamecock, a former Gamecock, her fan base grew after that moment. And there's even more of a chance with that, bringing in a Brittany Garner and a Tahina Pow, who was already popular on the college stage. And it just adds more to this melding pot of what we have.
yeah, it's cool to see now, and I see it in women's soccer as well, and it's something that I hope we add that to the conversation here
Yeah.
very soon and have a top level women's team. We're going to have a second division team starting next year in the Georgia Impact up in Canton, but a top flight team coming because it's the same story with girls soccer. I called a game earlier tonight, Hebron Christian and Mount Vernon, and it was a really good game. Some players that have an opportunity to play in college, have an opportunity, maybe if the cards fall right, to have a pro career in it. There's so many more opportunities for that. And I think the days of everything being siloed, and soccer has lived in that on both sides, with women's soccer being siloed at times and just soccer in general being siloed off from the sports conversation. I think those days are gone. I think, we're at a point now where, on our phone, we can pull up pretty much anything we want to watch, anything we want to talk about, anything we want to read. The barriers to entry are gone now. So if something captivates you, it's about the storytelling. And I feel like it's so important in the roles that we have here at the station to talk about what everybody is talking about and give our opinions and back them up too, but also to talk about things that should be talked about. And it's not should be in the sense that, like, you're wrong if you're not. It should be in the sense that you don't know yet. And we're going
Right.
to explain it, and we're going to, plant a seed with you. And it might not be your thing, and that's cool. There's going to be something else that will be. That's the cool thing about what we have right now in the city on the sports side is we have men's sports, we have women's sports, we have all the different sports, we have individual sports, we have team sports, college, high school, pro. So many different things that we can sink our teeth into, and it's what makes our lives, spin, because there's nothing like a big championship, a big win, just a great game in general, just a
Yeah.
great contest. Nothing can replace that. Maybe a great concert is in the conversation. I don't know. It's close, but just a great game. There's nothing for me that gets my blood going and gets my juices flowing. Just like a great game of any sport.
A concert is close, but like you kind of go in, unless you like don't know the band or the artist or whatever, you kind of go in knowing what you're gonna get. With
Yeah.
a sporting event, it's the whole drama of you not knowing what's gonna happen. Like your player can make all the right moves and the ref makes the wrong call, or your coach can make the right call and your player, waves it off and does something they want to do and ruin it. Or you can have a Wolverine situation where you call it when Chris Webber calls a
Oh,
timeout, they don't have like
Chris
there's
Webber
no
catching strays on the
I'm
first
just
segment.
saying like there are so many ways that things can go left in sports right when you think that you have something. I mean, and I feel like we in Atlanta are one of those cities with teams that show us that the most, right? Where something can be right there in your grasp and then it's not. But
Uh,
and even though we're usually on the wrong side of it, that's the stuff that keeps us coming back, like the Tennessee Miracle and stuff like that, like the unbelievable, the things you would never see happen, like a team going to 4 Super Bowls and not coming home with anything, 4 Super Bowls in a row and not coming home with anything. Like those are the things, whether you're on the wrong or right side of it, that keep us coming back for more. Like we're glutton for punishment. We love it.
Y yeah, it's what we love, and that's what we're gonna talk about on the intersection each week with you guys, and if there's things that you want us to get into, you can find us on social media. I'm not gonna steal Sam's line. I don't do that. I don't steal people's lines. But yes, you can find us on the X, and you can talk to us and let us know what you wanna get into.
On the social media, yeah, you can find me at Ella__cool 23 because that's where I am the most on X.
Long
And
shoe for me.
and with that, we will be back. You can hear us on the Odyssey app or 929 The Game. And welcome back to the intersection with Noel and Jason Longshore. And we are at the corner of sports and everything else. What's going on, Jason?
Everything else can get dangerous. I know that much.
Well, we'll try to keep it on the PG side.
We'll try.
And in this part of the show, we're going to go through the good, the bad, the ugly, which is what I like to call the headlines. And we will start with the NFL draft. We're going to give some quick draft grades. So, Jason, you saw the draft. You saw how it went down. We went up and down the board, and we used some next year picks this year, and we got some stuff I think we can use. But what do you say?
I like that we actually have the possibility to threaten getting to the quarterback.
Man,
We haven't had that very often. I don't know, ever. So it's good to see this for the Falcons. I like that they were aggressive. I'm glad they went back up into the draft. A guy that it sounds like they liked all along, in Pierce, and he's still there, and you get the chance to go get him. Walker falls your way, you take that. You weren't expecting that, coming into the day. You get that, and then you're still kind of watching, hoping, crossing your fingers, working on potential deals to trade back up. And you go and you make a very bold, aggressive move. I'd rather go get somebody that you want rather than hold on to a pick that might lead you to somebody that you don't really want, or there's not somebody that you really need. And then you're throwing picks away on the back end. Be aggressive, trade the pick to get who you've decided that you want. And I think what Terry Fontenot in the front office did is great.
Getting your guy and not a guy is something we're going to revisit when we get to the Browns. But yes, I love aggressiveness when it makes sense and it is thought out and there's reason behind it, right? And like last year, they were aggressive, in my opinion, because they looked ahead to this year's quarterback draft class and decided, nah, not really like a lot of those guys. I think I like this Michael Penix guy more than I like the guys we could potentially get next year. Plus, I don't want to be in position to draft anybody next year, to be honest. So we're going to take this swing now, especially if he just falls in our lap. I know we just paid all the money for the quarterback, but we're going to throw it all at the wall and figure this thing out. And I know there's some people that did not like that. I appreciate it. Throw it out all at the wall and figure it out.
Same.
Because again, not to throw another straight at the Browns, I don't want to be the Browns. It's been since Bernie Kosar. I
Oh
don't want to
man,
be a
Bernie was my boy.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying. It's been since then. Like that's where the buck stops. And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be on that quarterback roller coaster. So we took care of that. Okay, great. But now, like the Browns, we're on the other side of that with the other side of the field with defense. We've been looking for a defensive guy outside of John Abraham for 20 years. Like I'm not exaggerating here, and I'm on record saying that. So to
Yeah.
finally feel like, I mean, we haven't seen him yet in the uniform and go out there and do it, but to finally feel like you did the homework and you went out there and you did the thing that made sense and you got Walker that kind of fell in your lap, which is why I feel like it took so long to turn the pick in. Because now you're like, what do we do? Number one's on the board, but number 1A is still on the board. It's just like, what do we do?
You're having the flashbacks to draft day, and you're like, wait a minute, why is he still
Right.
there? Am I going to mess up by taking him? And no, like I think it just fell that way. I was talking to Mike Conti about it when we were on the road last weekend with Atlanta United, and just the way that the picks in front of you were set up and what people
Mm-hmm.
needed, there were two, three, maybe four spots that he could have gone,
Mm-hmm.
out of what, 14 picks ahead of you. So, all of those went your way. You hit the jackpot, and you get not just a good player who a lot of people had a whole lot higher on the board. You get a Georgia player for the first time, and you get
Man.
that bonus out of all of it. I mean, I'm looking to see what number he's going to wear, and I might have that jersey before opening day. I'm just saying.
Yeah, people already pounding the table talking about release the numbers.
That's
So
what I'm
they
looking.
are ready. They are ready to spend some money and rightfully so because this is the thing we've been beating the table on. But not just that. I mean, look at the DBs they went and got.
Yep.
If you look at James Pierce Jr., one of the things on his scouting report is the ability to create pressure. He was like what the number 1 or number 2 pressure guy, right? And pressures aren't sacks. I agree. This is a team that needs sacks. But what pressures can cause is a quarterback to make a mistake.
Hmm.
And you went out and added 2 extra ball hawks to go with Jesse Bates to try to turn pressures into extra possessions. And that's also brilliant in my opinion.
The deal with a draft and the deal with off season in general, you can't make any guarantees that what you do is going to work. There's no way to call it. I mean, chemistry sometimes doesn't come together. Sometimes guys get hurt. Sometimes guys have issues off the field. Like things happen, and you can do it all right on paper, and it doesn't work on the field. What I like about what Terry in the front office did is it feels like there's a plan. It feels like it was well thought out, and it feels like it was well executed. Now it's down to the guys on the field. But I think the off season, I think this front office has done its job, and they're set up to be a much better team this year.
Indeed. Whether I agreed with the vision, whatever that was that Arthur Smith had, that at least has this team set up offensively, and now you can do some of those defensive things that maybe he didn't do, and honestly, maybe you didn't want him to do. Like maybe
Yeah.
he wouldn't have even brought in the players, or really didn't bring in the players. Because in my opinion, the difference between this draft and some other drafts, because I saw somebody ask that. What was the difference between Terry's aggressiveness this draft between other drafts and drafted defensive players and all of that? I think it's the coaching, right?
Mhm.
Like I think you tried
Yeah.
to draft towards what Arthur Smith wanted, whatever that vision was, and now you're drafting towards Raheem's vision and a little bit of Jeff's vision, and you're seeing what that looks like differently, but it looks so much more decisive
Yeah.
on defense and what they want to do and change the style. So I'm really excited about that. And then also you sneak in a seventh rounder that can really make this team as a swing tackle due to his run blocking ability.
Yeah, good little bonus pickup there. And if you get anything out of that, then you are absolutely cooking with gas. You get seventh rounders that can help you in some way. You nailed the draft if that happens.
100%. And I think he'll be some media fun because he was listening to his first media conversation was entertaining, but it also showed me kind of the energy he's going to bring into the locker room because it went from is it hot down there? Y'all don't practice outside, do you? To oh no, my knee's ready to go. I'm ready to go. My hamstring, my knee, whatever it was, I'm ready to go 100%. I'm ready to start it, rookie camp, OTAs, whatever it is, I'm ready to go. So like the playfulness into immediate stoic kind of gives you at least the demeanor you want out of
Yeah.
a lineman. The rest is for him and for, Jake and the rest of the guys to kind of, whip him into NFL shape. But it seems like he already has the right demeanor and attitude. So, and then you bring in a whole lot of undrafted guys that people can't even believe are undrafted. So,
Mhm.
like to have as few picks as you had and to lose that fifth rounder and yada yada yada. These undrafted guys sound like they're about to come in here and really, really challenge for some jobs and make some noise.
Feels like you made some impact with everything that you did last weekend. It feels like you're in a better place going into the preseason. Now it's just down to executing on the field and seeing who wins battles, who gets playing time, and really seeing what this team can be this season. I feel a lot better about it now than I did going into the draft.
Yeah, indeed, because now it looks like you have a more complete defense, and now those veteran pieces make a little more sense, right?
Yeah.
Because now they're not just there to rush the passer themselves, but they're also there to kind of pass that knowledge along, on the field and off the field, like how to behave as in front of the media and in the locker room. And not that they don't know all those things being big collegiate players, but it is going to be a little different in an NFL locker room, and they'll also be there to help them along with that. And it's usually what you see teams want to do with like quarterbacks, like have that established vet and then put a guy behind them to, show them how to lead by example, if you will. So you'll have a lot of that too, which makes a Leonard Floyd a lot more um what's the word I want to use? I don't want to use the word important, but you see his importance a lot more,
Mhm.
especially with the comp between him and Walker.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what you need. Sometimes young guys need that old head in the locker room a little bit who can just help you through aspects of it that you go into a professional situation, as professional as it is over in Athens, as professional as it is at many schools around the country. It's not the same. It's different. Like guys do have a little more understanding now of what it means to play for a paycheck. That's changed a little bit over the last few years, but it's still a different mentality. And it's good to have guys that hopefully have that right mindset to pass that on because you don't want old guys who are going to block the kids coming up. You want old guys who are going to help those kids be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Indeed, indeed. Now we got to switch to a topic that I don't think you'll be as excited about, but you will try to answer my question to the best of your ability. Yeah, you can tell by the side where we're going. Okay, so me and John Freaky were, hanging out this weekend, and we were just, tossing stuff around before we started letting the callers in on it. And, we just wondered, why does Atlanta United just seem so funky this season? Like, we came up with kind of a round hole square peg situation, but like, what is your more insightful eye show you? Like, what more details can you give me? Because all I know is it just looks funky.
It's twofold. I think just like what we were talking about with Terry Fontenot, you make all the right moves in the offseason. I think the Atlanta United front office made all the right moves in the offseason. You went out and you spent a lot of money. You brought in Latte Lot, who has done pretty well scoring goals. You brought Miguel Almiron back and sold a ton of shirts and expect more from him than what you're getting so far. It's been disappointing. Hopefully that changes. Mateusz Klick has been injured a lot. You bring him in a good move. Like the team should have been better on paper than they are playing right now. And I think what I've seen in these last couple of weeks that it's concerning in a very different way. Like up until maybe the Dallas game, maybe the New England game, the end of that homestand, it felt like Atlanta United had some bad luck. You're playing pretty well. You're not getting enough goals for what you're creating. You're giving up some weird goals. Things are going against you, but you're still playing pretty well. You're not playing as well right now, and you're not creating as much, and you're giving up worse goals. And it looks like a confidence issue to me. And Ronnie Dial talked about confidence, and I see this team in training, and it doesn't look like the same team in games,
Yep.
and that's concerning. And just like what we were talking about with bringing the right guys into the locker room, I think on paper, in terms of talent, you brought the right guys into the locker room. I think right now, somebody's got to show more personality in the locker room and help get this group out of their own heads because it feels like they are really turning inward and not playing freely. And they're either worried about making a mistake or when something goes wrong, they're worried about we can't come back. The confidence feels like the biggest issue at the moment. Not an easy fix. It's not a simple thing. I mean, in a way, you hope the luck turns for you and you can capitalize on it. Sure, can't guarantee that. You just have to find a way to get this group to believe in themselves again and get this group to keep fighting and force the luck to turn your way. And it's not an easy thing. And I think personality wise, you need somebody who, what do we always say? Like grabs the team by the scruff of the neck, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's real. Like we can sit here and make fun of it. It's a cliche. It absolutely is. But you need that guy sometimes. You need that player sometimes. You need that player who can get in somebody's face and yell at them in the right way and also motivate them in the right way. You got to know when to be hard on somebody and when to put your arm around somebody. And that's what this team I think is just kind of lacking at the moment. And players have to I think fix this because to me it's not tactics, it's not coaching, it's not the team that was put together on paper. The players have to perform better and they have it in them. It's just bringing it out of the group collectively.
Yeah, and I think the crazy part is like even the casuals can kind of see that just watching them like they move like they lack the confidence. Like they start off well and then after that first goal, because you're right, they do kind of give up inexplicable goals. And then after that first goal, or they may score first and have a lot of control and then give up a goal and then get rattled. And then it's like this isn't the same team I just saw 20 minutes ago. What happened? And I've seen that in a lot of Hawks teams in the past couple of years, like back and
Mm,
forth. Like they'll have
yep.
games where they're really great, and they'll have games where the shooting is bad, and then the body language gets bad. And now we're just kind of doing stuff or going through the motions, praying for the clock, like praying for the clock to hit zero. And that's the stuff that you need somebody, to your point, to galvanize everybody, to get the energy back and to go try to grab a win. Because I think once they grab a win and they feel that again, like it can kind of turn the tide. But they got to go grab a win.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's so many parallels to the way the games feel between basketball and soccer to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm always thinking when I watch basketball, I'm thinking of like game flow in a soccer match. And there's so many moments in a soccer match. It's extended, it's over a bigger space too, but I think of things from basketball about how momentum swings are so important and how you manage momentum swings are so important. And in soccer, you don't have the timeouts that you can do to break it up. You don't have that, logo three to hit to break things up, but you've got other ways to change momentum. And this team right now is struggling to change momentum in a positive way.
Well, we will continue to see what happens there. We'll do a little rapid fire as we wrap up this segment. Congratulations, Dyson Daniels, for winning Most Improved Player. I was so focused on Defensive Player of the Year that it completely skipped me that he had such a shot. I mean, I knew he was in the running, but to have such a shot to win Most Improved Player. But when you go from scoring 5 points to 14 points and you get the most steals out of anybody in the league times two, yeah, you might be the most improved player.
Yeah, absolutely. Great pickup. And, we talk about fit. He was the perfect fit for what this Hawks team needed. Now they got to build on it.
Indeed, indeed. And that's where I wonder if somebody like a Zion Williamson could benefit from the same change of scenery. Like, look, I know his faults and I know his off the court issues, and we've seen the on the court issues, but we've also seen the on the court greatness. So could we maybe, corral that a bit and give him a place where he can be himself, but with a little more structure and really capitalize on this? Um, we don't know, but
Not if he can't
maybe.
stay healthy.
Agreed. Agreed.
That's what I come back to. It's not the rest of the stuff doesn't matter to me. It's about, can he be healthy? Can you count on him to play? I don't know if I can.
Right, exactly. So that's my apprehension too, but he would be less expensive than somebody like a Giannis who could be looking to get out of jail, aka Milwaukee. Sorry, Milwaukee. I really do feel bad, Milwaukee. I never wanted you to have him in the first place, but I do feel bad, Milwaukee. And with my apologies to Milwaukee, we will take a break and be back with a new segment called Darts. What is that? We will explain it when we get back on 929 The Game and the Odyssey app. Welcome back to the intersection with Noel White and Jason Longshore, and it is last call as we play darts at the bar.
Yeah, that's what we do, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we've had some drinks, we've had a good time, and then we got to go do something. We got to throw some darts. So explain how this is going to work for people.
All right, audience, listeners, friends of the show. So, the way darts work is either I or Jason will place a person, item, thing, a noun, on the dartboard, and we will throw a dart at it, and we will give our opinion, positive, negative, on the noun that's on the dartboard. If Jason agrees or I agree, we will throw a dart to agree and give our explanation. If we don't agree, we can remove the noun from the board and explain why. So, am
Okay.
I up
So
first, Jason, or you?
yeah, you're up first. So it's basically like we have a printer at the bar, which is always dangerous, and we're printing pictures of what we want to throw up on the dartboard just to add a little extra spice to the game.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What picture are you printing first to throw up on the dartboard?
That's the printer, by the way. The printer is printing a photo of the NFL shield. I am
Okay.
throwing a dart at the NFL shield. Why am I throwing a dart? Well, the Falcons and Jeff Ulbrich got a fine for things I really do not feel like going back into today, right now.
Oh man.
But it seems to be an incomplete investigation as more first and second round players of this draft were also prank called. So it seems that we were premature in our punishment before we finished our complete investigation, which included the fact that the NFL themselves sent those phone numbers to more people than actually intended, which begs the question, did the NFL violate their own data policy?
Did they find themselves? Is that what we're getting at here? I
I
mean,
mean, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. I'm not saying that Jeff didn't do the thing that caused the action, but what I'm
yeah.
saying is that same action was kind of done from up top. So what are we doing here? And that's why friends, kids. We should finish investigations before we make determinations. That's all I'm saying. Finish it out. Finish it out.
That's definitely a message for the kids. Make sure you finish your investigations, kids, when you are investigating chaos like this. Um, what did they say? Something like 2,000 people got these emails.
Yes.
That feels a little excessive. I don't know. I mean, I have to do the math of all the different people in a team and their football operations and anybody else who might need to have that information. I don't know. Maybe it's a realistic number. I do feel like they're gonna look bad if more things come out about other people.
Exactly.
If if this crew ended up pranking everybody because of the list, then all right, cool. Then I throw the book at them. That's fine. I get it. If there's other people who got the numbers and pranked other people independently of Jeff's son, then just keep that same energy about the fines. That's all I'm going to ask. If you're going to do it here, keep that same energy about other people getting fined too.
I mean, Terry Fontenot got impersonated. Like, does he get no justice?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Does he get to
Who you-
smack somebody at least? I mean, come on.
Does he get to throw a dart at the board? Terry, I'm gonna throw the dart. I'm gonna throw the dart for you, Terry.
Yeah, I'll throw the dart. I'll go for the bullseye on it. I'm not very good at hitting the bullseye, but I'm going for the bullseye in that one. All right, I got one for you. I'm gonna print out a picture of Atlanta royalty, Outcast.
Mm.
Outcast being named to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this week. Now, there's a couple different angles to it that we'll get into here in a second. There's one, in my opinion, dumb aspect that people will argue and probably throw a dart about. I have a different angle on it, but I've been swayed a little bit the more that I've thought about it. I'm just going to ask you: are you going to throw a dart at Outkast being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Nah, because that's the only Hall of Fame we got. Like, it'd be different if y'all called it something else or made a hip hop rock and roll. So somewhere the concept of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was modified, and we never fixed the name part of it, and now we just
Yes.
have to live with it. We just have to live with it.
100%. I am absolutely with you on that. The reason why I would think about throwing a dart, and I'm not going to, but the reason why I would think about it is when you really think about the creative output that Outkast has had.
Mm-hmm.
6 albums?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
In a long period of time. And like they met all the criteria, so you can argue about that, whatever. But not as large of a body of work as you might think for a Hall of Famer. But then when I start to think about it, a band that is in there that is in a lot of ways similar in terms of output, but also impact, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses had fewer albums than Outkast. But nobody would think like, oh no, they shouldn't be in there because of who they were at their height and how long they've influenced. And Outkast meets that criteria. So like I'm with you. If you're hung up on it's hip hop in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, stop. That ship sailed a long time ago. If you're into it, if you're thinking about like should they be in because how much have they done together, we can have the conversation. I get it. But I think they deserve to be in for what they have done in terms of influence and impact in the music world.
Agreed. I'm gonna throw a dart off the side of the paper because
Okay.
I'm not against it. I'm throwing a dart for like a positive for the Hall of Fame. So I'm not gonna hit the bullseye because it's like a positive dart in agreement. But shout out to Miles because he's right too. NWA had even less albums.
Yeah.
And they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he's right.
It's a different conversation with hip hop and than a rock band in a lot of ways. I think the amount, and it's going to change even more now in the next like 15, 20 years in terms of how much work people put out.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the impact criteria too, because NWA and Guns N' Roses, like they fit that same conversation of impact. Like Slash had kids wanting to play guitar, they didn't really want to play guitar like that anymore. It was a new sound.
Top hats. I mean,
right.
Top hats.
Yeah, it was a new wave of rock when that happened. Just like NWA was a new wave of music, period, when it came in. And then Outkast was a different Southern variation that
Yep.
hadn't really been celebrated or heard that much. I mean, in the middle of all of the source in the source East Coast West Coast nonsense is Outkast
Yes.
sitting there winning, newcomer of the year award. Like
Everybody's
they're in
hating
the middle of the
everybody, and
chaos.
yeah, everybody's like mad at everybody. Everybody's taking shots at everybody. Andre's like, "What's up?
But my
What's going
favorite part is Big Boy comes out and is just as gracious as can be, and hey everybody, and we love the West Coast, and then he turns to Andre and go, "We gonna leave it at that, or we gonna get spicy? Like it's on you where you want to take it."
Where
That's
you
when
want to
Andre
go?"
was like, "Well, everybody in here angry and hostile anyway. The South got something to say." And that they've been kind of touted as not necessarily the kings of the South, but kind of like the grandfathers of that. And
Mhm,
of course, you got your 8 Ball and MJG and your
mhm.
other Southern staples, but they're seen as like that pop culture record chart video in the mainstream forefront of Southern rap. So yeah, they've definitely earned their rock and roll Hall of Fame
Yeah,
induction.
I'll
Congratulations.
I'll make the comparison between two of my favorite music artists of all time, and something that they both did. One's Outkast and one's REM.
Okay.
REM talked about it, and I think it was really cool the way that they put it. Like they were college rock for a decade, and then they became huge, and everybody was like, "Oh no, they sold out! They sold out!" No, no, no. The mainstream tamed
Just
this
caught
down.
up. They
Yeah,
caught
the
up.
mainstream caught up, and it's the same
Mandolins are
thing
not
with Stank Owner.
popular.
Yeah,
Like mandolins aren't popular, and that's
no.
around the time that REM really took off was Me and
Losing
My
My
Religion.
Religion and Mandolin Song becomes number one around the world.
Exactly. Like that's not sold out. That's literally the masses came to us because
Yeah,
they liked our message and our sound.
and that's what
And
Outkast did.
and
They
that's
brought the
exactly what Outkast
masses
did.
to their sound, and they put so many other people on because of that. So yes, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, absolutely. Even though, man, I just wish they put out more music.
Well, you gonna have to put on your Big Boy and your Sleepy albums and just get the
Oh,
best you
I do,
can,
I
because
do.
Big Sleep, if y'all haven't heard it. We're gonna try to get this last one in before we end the party and let you guys out of here, and y'all rejoin us next time at 10 o'clock on Thursday. But we gotta get into a little bit of this Bill Belichick thing. And I'll let it's technically Jason's dart, so I'll let him choose what direction we go here to close
No,
the
no, I'm gonna
show.
let
But
you. I'm just printing the picture out. I'm just printing Bill's picture out. Maybe Jordan's too. I don't know. I'm just printing
man,
that out, putting it up on the dartboard. What you gonna do?
I'm at this weird intersection because like we were saying off screen, like I feel like if you're not a Falcons fan or a Tar Heels fan, you've really kind of been ignoring most of this because it's just interpersonal stuff that's really none of our business, right? But then, like, so on the Falcons side, it's like, okay, can we stop with the 28-3 stuff? Like, it's really getting old, and we kind of know where it's coming from, Miss Hudson. And on the other half of it, on the Tar Heel side, it's like, can we, talk football? Can we recruit somebody? Can we have a signing day? Can we, can we, can we have a Tar Heel day where we go back and forth? Can we do something football related? Like, so I feel like I've been in this unique intersection, haha, of this story and like paying attention to it. But ever since the Good Morning America conversation and the we're not gonna talk about that of it all, this thing has jumped the shark. All of my internet sports faves, football faves are on this topic right now. Before we started, I was watching That's Good Sports, and that's what Brandon Perna was talking about. This weird situation of this is not the Bill Belichick that we know. This is not seem like the Bill Belichick that's in control of things, that's running the show. This like she's the COO of Belichick Productions. Like, what are we doing? And I've looked up her credentials, y'all. She's not a producer. Like,
No,
I've looked up her
exactly.
credentials, so I'm not being mean or reactionary here. Like, I had to look this lady up because I'm like, where did you come from? And I don't know where she came from, but I will say one thing though, whoever money she's using, I'm not going to claim whose, but her investment portfolio is immaculate. So
I
shout
did
out to
see
Jordan
this.
on
Yes,
that one. Her
yes.
investment portfolio is immaculate. But yeah, it's just weird. And I feel like, for as much flack as the Falcons get on their decision making, that they really dodged the bullet. They dodged the
Thank
bullet
you.
by going with somebody not named Bill Belichick. Because could you imagine he wanted complete control? He wanted Terry gone for however you feel about Terry. And he wanted Rich McKay gone for however y'all feel about Rich. And it was gonna be the Bill Belichick show. And then you were gonna have to run everything through COO Jordan Hudson. Are you Did we want to live that life? Because I kind of am living that life. I kind of am living that life. So did we really want to live that life? Like, I know at one point he was the greatest coach of all time, and this is a great example of how things change every day. And
Hmm.
yesterday's Bill Belichick is not today's Bill Belichick. And with that said, we are going to close the intersection for tonight. We are going to leave the corner of sports and everything else
I'm
until
just
next
chucking darts
Thursday.
over here in the corner at Bill Belichick.
Man, all of them, and then pull them off and choke some more at them.
Yep.
Every Thursday at 10 p.m., Jason and I will be here to bring y'all more entertainment, more sports, and more intersectionality. So come join us, please. Follow us on our social medias that we gave y'all earlier. And if you didn't join us at 10 o'clock, you can always find us on the Odyssey app. Good evening, Atlanta.